Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sideline Brief Podcast, episode 201. We're at 200 now. We got a jam-packed episode. I know we say that every week, but we really do this week. We got NFL to cover. We got UFC to cover. I think we were UFC 322, I believe. Might be
Yeah.
wrong, but we got to recap that. A lot of good fights coming out of there. Sprinkle in a little bit of NBA and a little bit of college football as well. We got some breaking news coming out of college football in terms of coaching. So we'll go into that as well. So with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Back. Let's get into this NFL Week 11, I believe. Just almost wrapped up. We got one game tonight, Cowboys versus Raiders. Gonna be a snooze fest in my opinion. Um, Watch at your own discretion. But Cowboys do have a lot of new heads, new faces coming in this week. Logan Wilson, Quentin Williams. I think someone's coming off of IR. I forgot the name, but um, we want to see points put up. The Cowboys will probably put up 30, but we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about some of this other previous Week 11 talk or games that happened. Jets, Patriots, Thursday night. Um, Outcome of this game, Justin Fields will be benched next week. So Tyrod Taylor is going to take the helmet quarterback after Justin Fields had another bad performance. Um, Part of that, I will credit the receivers to dropping a lot of passes, but quite a few passes that he threw their way that they dropped. But overall, he was just not slinging the ball well. Um, any thoughts coming out this Thursday night one?
No. I think it's interesting it took this long to announce that he was going to get benched, but I thought you would have done that a little sooner. I mean, just after the performance he put on. It looked like they were playing college football a little bit because they were running so much, like pitch and pistol, in order to set up those kind of plays.
Yeah, offense has not been looking well besides the get right game against the Bengals. The 1 o'clock window. I I guess we got to talk about the Commanders Dolphins game. Commanders Dolphins playing in Spain. First game in Spain. Went to overtime, so they got to they definitely got their money's worth in euros or whatever they pay. The currency is in Spain, but um, Mariota and Tua didn't play too bad, in my opinion. It wasn't that bad of a game to watch. I wish it was higher scoring, but both teams are definitely decimated when it comes to personnel. So it's not too much you can ask for. At one point, Mariota I think he was hurt. I don't think the backup came in though, but he was hurt at one point. Dolphins pulled it out at the end. I think Mariota threw an interception to begin overtime, so Dolphins just had to go maybe like 10, 15 yards and kick the field goal. So, any thoughts coming out this Sunday morning game?
I don't, yeah, well, for me, my car battery had died the day before. So during this awful game that I did not watch a single bit of, um, I think I didn't get to see any of it, but I remember looking down and seeing that the Dolphins had the ball with like 16 seconds left, like 20 seconds left, and instead of just kicking the field goal, they went for it.
Yep,
Okay, yeah,
very
they're
questionable.
just they're just lucky that Mariota apparently the first play in overtime immediately just throws an interception. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I think that's all she wrote. I think that's what we should think of pretty much both those teams' season, but one literally tried to lose it, and the other one was just so bad that it went ahead and lost it.
yeah. The Commanders without Jaden, without Scary Terry. Honestly, they're missing quite a few players. They're just not having a good season. So, only thing they're contending for is it's a top 10 pick. That's for sure. And the Dolphins, gotta give them credit. They're playing for their coach, or I'm not necessarily saying that they're playing to save his job, but they're definitely still playing for him, which is something to behold. 1 o'clock window. Any of these games, um, you want to start with? I think your Panthers played in 1 o'clock window. I don't know if you want to start there.
I mean, Bryce Young had a pretty much career-defining game. He went for 448. I think it was a Panthers record, which was crazy to me that Cam Newton never threw for that much. But then again, the man was scrambling half the time too. But I remember some of them games where he threw at least 2 touchdown bombs to Ted Ginn in one game. But I digress. He did kind of just pick apart the Falcons defense for most of the day. When they didn't get enough pass rush in on him, he had time. I will say he did check down Merchant a lot, but it just somehow it's always open. So I think at this point, with Ocho Cinco in our corner, I think the team has a lot that it can do. It is apparently the hardest schedule. It is going to be a Monday Night Football game coming up. We don't get to play on Monday night games very often, so I think this team's going to take it on pretty good. I think we're a 7-point underdog, and I think we're going to take it straight to them, and I think we're going to cover. I think some games we've had have been a little, I would say, fluky, including this one. But I think that the 49ers defense is so banged up that the showing that the Panthers put on the Falcons, I think there's a good chance there. And, Bryce Young, he has the most, game-winning drives since 2023.
Fair enough. Hey, I was high on your Panthers going into the season. I'm not surprised at the latest of what we're seeing right now. Also in the 1 o'clock window, I believe we have, of course, the Bengals lost their Steelers. I will say defense played well first half, then kind of fell apart second half. Joe Flacco didn't look the same after that roughing the passer call by T.J. Watt kind of drove him into the ground. It was kind of a bang bang play. I don't really know if you will want to call it roughing the passer, but hey, I'll take it. Um, I will say the one positive thing out this game is offensive line still looks like it's improving week over week. So, Chase Brown having, I think, the fourth straight game of 100 yards from scrimmage is pretty promising. Still rushing pretty well, yards per carry wise. I want to say weeks 6 through 11, the Bengals are in like number one in yards per carry. So the line is definitely getting better. So you gotta give them credit for starting two rookies at left and right guard, and they're holding their own so far. And Mims and OBJ Jr. is still holding up, especially Orlando Brown. He's getting up there in age. They need to find his replacement soon, but he's still playing at a pretty good clip. But other than that, I mean, the sore spot in this one, of course, Chase spitting on Ramsey. Uh, Not cool at all. We kind of went after, what's his name? Jalen Carter when he did it week one. So we got to give you the same flack, bro. You can't be doing that. You can't be spitting on another man, bro. You getting paws on sight if you do that. So, and I mean, as a fan, I would fight you on sight. So you can't be doing that, bro. So spin it for one game. He's appealing it. I doubt he wins. So it's gonna set up a blowout for uh potential blowout for the week 12 matchup versus the Patriots, which will be this week. So we'll see. Any thoughts?
Well, I think that's for the Bengals is the season has not been like we thought it would. Um, I think it really comes down to the fact that Flacco didn't have any brilliance this game. The Steelers have pretty much seen him too many times this season to know how to play against him. It's not even Flacco's own fault, but it's just what it is. Like over time, they've just played this man way too often. Tempers are going to get high because, well, if Flacco is nullified, guess who else is nullified? Wide receiving group. The turnovers. Honestly, the time of possession, it was so equal. And the score is not, I would say, relevant to the actual game. I mean, just the 2 turnovers for touchdowns, pretty much. They're just one of those things that's like, oh, she wrote, like, what am I supposed to do when I can't stop that? Um, in terms of you're talking about the Bengals' upcoming game against the Patriots, yeah, I mean the losing streak just seems like it's just going to keep continuing. At this point, is there even a reason to have Burrow come back in, other than to please his wide receivers who are having a horrible year, um, of having, I guess, somewhat stats, but no wins to show for it.
I mean, T's having a great year. I think he has 7 touchdowns. Chase, I believe, is still first in catches, or at least he was last week, and like second in yards. So we'll see after this week continue or completes. But yeah, we'll see. Zach Taylor, and then the press conference today said they're going to focus on his health and then see what that looks like. I guess after this next week. So we shall see. A game that I thought would be closer was Bucks Bills. This game kind of got away from the Bucks going into the fourth. It was pretty back and forth game. I think it just comes down to Baker just is really missing all his weapons. I mean, Josh Allen has all his weapons, and you basically working with a rookie receiver and some makeshift pieces. It's really gonna hurt you, and we've seen it for a couple of games now. I think they're like on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, right? The Bucks.
Yeah, it's because the running game, even though it was getting going this game, when the Bills defense, or sorry, when the Bills offense can just start scoring at will because the defense is folding because the defense is now injured. I mean, overall, the Buccaneers as a whole are just so banged up.
Yeah. Josh Allen had a couple turnovers, but he was able to overcome them. I think he had what 2 rushing touchdowns himself, or no, he had 3. So he had 6 total touchdowns. Yeah, I mean he just basically put the team on his back. Gabe Davis made his return to Buffalo after signing that big deal with the Jags, right? And then he came back to Buffalo after the Jags cut him this year. Um, One surprising thing, Keon Coleman did not play this game. I think
Oh, he was late to walkthroughs, I think.
something he's late or something. So they he was a DNP. Um, I want to say something similar happened last year in his rookie season, and it's not good. It's not a good look for a first round pick who they're hoping you are going to be their future number one receiver after they were willing to move off of Diggs, and now look at Diggs playing well and over there in your division with the Patriots.
But with his sports baby mama.
Hey, you know that man. Hey, I ain't gonna talk nothing about his baby mamas, but maybe she's helping with his play lately. Cardi likes to hang out with Mr. Kraft. She was hanging out with Mr. Kraft, 2 games ago. So yeah, maybe he has something to play for. Maybe that's why he's trying to get another big contract.
Alrighty. Well, moving on to another game, because again, I agree the Bucks. The game did get a little away from at the end. The Packers and Giants was oddly close for something that
Hmm.
should have been handled. I wouldn't say. Um, I would say sparingly, but I mean the Packers should have beat them up a little bit. They were stressing at multiple points in this game. And
Josh
this is the
Jacobs
Giants team
out.
we're talking about with Jameis Winston coming in. Jordan Love did not go crazy in the slightest. And to be honest, has not been going crazy the second half, or not even the second half. The little middle part of the season. We're going to call it the middle part of the season.
Josh Jacobs was hurt, got hurt during the game. Jordan Love left the game, I believe, but managed to come back. Um, yeah, you're right. This definitely was a game that they should have easily won. I didn't have this on multi-view, so I can't really speak to it. But yeah, and another close game, well, closer than it probably should have been, was the Bears Vikings. Honestly, JJ did not play well. You see, Jettis is very, very frustrated. You see him on the sidelines walking off the field frustrated. Um, I get it. JJ basically is playing as rookie this year. He sat out most of or all of last year, but I don't know. More and more I see the kid, I just don't think he was the answer. I think more and more I look at it, the more and more I'm like, yeah, they probably should have ponied up the money for Sam Darnold for at least another year.
I don't know. I feel like what he does not produce in passing yards, he produces in big runs, which aren't really what you need to be doing. But he seems to work the field and get timely drives. We'll just say that. I think he just needs to figure out how to put more and more of them together. Um, how you do that, I don't know. You just get better at throwing the ball, but can't really teach that. I think this was like one of the first games. Um, I think interception wise, I think it got a little away from him.
Yeah, I just what they need in Minnesota is a gunslinger, and you saw with the success they had last year with a gunslinger, and then you got a guy that's seemingly timid and afraid to throw the ball, can't really fit in the tight windows. I think this is what you get, but
Well,
hey, mate,
he's thrown an interception in every single game, and his over under should be at 1.5 because he's thrown two interceptions in 3 games and one interception in 2 games.
so you're saying is you bet on his interceptions.
Yeah, that's where you make some money. JJ McCarthy's guaranteed an interception a game.
Will do. Chargers got destroyed. This was very surprising. With all the injuries coming out of Jacksonville, I was thinking the Chargers, uh, not saying it would be smooth sailing, but definitely I thought they had a good chance to win in Jacksonville, but not the case here.
To be fair, I kept having this because I was being lazy with my multi-view, and because this game for some reason was always seeming to be playing, and like
Mm.
other three would be in commercial, this one would always seem to be playing, so I left it. And the absolute downfall, I think I watched Herbert completely get flipped during this game. Like full on cartwheels flip, and I think the backup they were about to throw in Trey Lance, and I was like, oh my god, we are down bad in Los Angeles. Yeah, I don't know if this team can crawl to the end of the season and make the playoffs. I'm not I'm not feeling this team um, finishing the season at all. To be honest, I don't know if they got to win though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they started the season so well, especially what 3 division wins out the gate. So I think they have a chance, but I mean the injuries are just piling up. I don't know if they have enough reinforcements to, like you said, make it to the end, but we'll see. And the 4 o'clock window, I feel like were pretty meh. The Chiefs Broncos was probably the standout. Ravens Browns, Shador got a chance to come in for Dylan Gabriel. I think he left the game with a head injury. I think they said Shador is likely to start this week. Um, he looked bad. I'm not gonna lie, but his offensive line was terrible. It wasn't protecting the man, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I gotta say. Maybe he'll do better with some reps with the ones. Apparently he doesn't have that under his belt, but I don't know
Yeah, it's kind of
if that
crazy
really
that he
is gonna
doesn't
make a
have that.
difference.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that's kind of crazy that they said he didn't have any reps with the ones, and Dylan Gabriel was the talent that was being thrown out week to week. I'm not shitting on Gabriel and saying that he's a bad player and horrible, but like he wasn't standing out greatly.
Yeah.
Where oh man, yeah, cut him, don't need him. Like that wasn't ever happening, and I don't know, thought it was weird.
Yeah,
Then you make him look like a clown out there because, well, he doesn't have any rhythm with these guys. And then, to be fair, we know that the Browns' backup players are all pretty bad, or not backup, but catching hands are all bad anyway.
And seemingly they threw the ball a lot when Sanders was in the game versus running the ball, which I think they were doing a pretty decent job at. So that's a
Well,
little questionable too. I don't.
well, I was watching the game at that point. It was a shutdown. They knew what they were doing. They tried to run the ball, and they just kept going 3-and-out with the running of the ball.
Well. Chiefs lose another one. They're 1-4 away. I don't think the Chiefs have won any division games. I think they're just getting stomped. Um, I mean, what do we say? We thought the Chiefs would take off, or at least I did. I thought they would take off once they got back Rice, and I know Pacheco's hurt, but Pacheco's kind of fallen out of favor there. Kareem Hunt's kind of leading the way in terms of rushing the ball, but uh, are we seeing the collapse of Kansas City this year, or will they find a way to make it to the playoffs?
Well, let's check it out because I'm kind of bit in your boat because I've been calling it for years. I'm pretty sure I think it was last year. I think this year I digressed a little, but calling the fact that the Chiefs aren't going to make it back to the playoffs, and I will say it as much as that. Like I don't think they make it to the playoffs. Um,
You're doubling down.
Personally, I'll double and triple down on it. I just simply don't think. I think there's a lot of good teams in the AFC. I don't know how many good games they can put together. They are favored. I mean, they get to play the Titans and the Raiders, so you can almost assume two good wins. But you got to play the Colts. It's going to be a tough one.
They
Dallas
play
is going to put
Dallas.
points on you. Houston's going to try their best at you on defense. You probably get to beat up the Chargers. Maybe the Chargers have something figured out. Unfortunately, the Chargers on the road, we can't really trust them too much.
Yep.
So then we just have to hope on Denver. But I
Yep.
think there's a way that they don't make it. I think highly because you got to think about it. They are in complete fighting with the Steelers and the Ravens.
Well, it's two for a wild card. Yep.
Yeah, you're fighting with those two. You're fighting with the Texans because the Texans are going to be winning and the Colts are just up there. And then you're fighting with the Bills and the Patriots.
Yep.
So you're going 1-1 against the Ravens. So it's can Ravens or Chiefs or Jacksonville too? I mean, there's a lot of hands in the pot. Not everybody can eat.
This is true. Only seven can make it. Only three wild cards. Seemingly, they're out the division race. So they gotta hope that they can string together some of these AFC wins so that they can have some tiebreakers.
Currently, it says they're listed at 55%. So
A coin flip. We'll see after next week. And then we had the night game. Honestly, I thought the Lions coming into the game, I thought the Lions had a very good chance. The offense had been rolling. Campbell's taking over play calling. He's calling plays pretty well. Gibbs running the ball pretty well. And then the Eagles shut him down. I will say, I think Dan going forward on fourth down too many damn times kind of cost them this one. They had, at least twice they could have put points on the board and refused. So if you add 6 to the score, it's 15-16, and then hey, maybe you don't get that PI called at the end and you can make a drive, but I know he's going to go for it every single time, but I think somebody has to not be the yes man and say, hey man, you got to not go for it, take the points, especially against a Eagles team that the defense is playing well that game, and the Eagles The Eagles were at home. I think you just got to take all the points you can get. That's my opinion. But any thoughts on this one?
I agree with you because I think they got too overzealous with trying to just go for it every time, and I think they do this way too many times throughout seasons, and I think sometimes they just get away with it. But I think that they kind of deserve this loss for the same reasons you said, but also I can understand where they were coming from. It was windy as hell.
Yeah.
But one time they were in the 10, and at one point you could tell that Jared Goff was pretty much seeing ghosts. Like that man had been hit, beaten one way, beaten the left the other way. The only touchdown they scored was pretty much on a fluke seam slant route that a man was just faster than the rest of the other team.
Yeah, and it was a slugfest by both teams' defenses. Your Lions defense was playing well. Eagles defense was playing well. I don't see why after the second quarter he just didn't adjust. I think that's one thing as a coach, you just need to adjust sometimes to what's happening in the games. And Dan Campbell just seemingly doesn't do it. He's just gonna go with his strategy of going for it. Switching to the UFC. Actually, no, switch to college football. um, Other than the games, we got kind of breaking news, and not kind of, it is. James Franklin heading to Virginia Tech as their new head coach just broke a couple hours ago. My thoughts, I think at the very least, recruiting is back at with the Hokies. James Franklin's a damn good recruiter. They've been lacking a recruiter for many, many years now. Honestly, I mean, Frank Beamer could recruit, but towards the end of his tenure, I think the kid stopped trying to, getting the message across. And it was obvious he was about to retire, so kids weren't going to go there anymore and with the uncertainty. But now I think at the very least, the Virginia kids will stay in Virginia. James Franklin recruited a lot of VA kids up to Penn State. I think if we can get most of the kids to stay in state and come there and stop having these SEC teams and even some of these Big Ten or Big 12 schools steal talent, they'll have a lot of success. I think the benchmark is basically just being in contention for the ACC because if you win the ACC, you get to be in the college football playoffs, and I think that's all that this university wants is to be relevant again, and I think he can do that. Any thoughts, Lawrence?
I think it just puts a Tech back on the map, which I think Tech has needed for probably years now. But he's gonna get him immediately back to a bowl game. You just kind of know that he's gonna get enough talent in there to make an immediate bowl push. Which honestly, power to it because having UVA good now and then Virginia Tech also be good.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be really. I think it's gonna be really fun to watch for as a Virginian.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely got to get back on the map. Brent Pry was not a good coach. Didn't like him at all. Coach before Fuente had a good couple of years, but I think before he moved on elsewhere. But yeah, this gives them the chance to be relevant again. And with UVA being the relevant school in the state, I hate to see it, but hopefully this puts the Hokies back on the map. Any of the games you want to talk about? We had, of course, Alabama, Oklahoma. We had Texas, Georgia, um, USC, Iowa. A lot of good games this weekend. I don't know if you caught any of them.
Well, Iowa came in clutch. Ole Miss also came in clutch. I bought their spread down. It was a good move. Good move. They almost didn't cover the buy down. Um, but in terms of everybody else, pretty disappointing from Michigan. I thought they didn't deserve that win that game. They literally turned the ball over 5 times, I believe.
Yep.
But Iowa, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than nice job, I guess, first half. Complete meltdown second half was very, very hard to watch. Did finish watching that game. Alabama, Oklahoma, didn't really watch it because I was watching Iowa, but what I did see from Oklahoma was their offense was not there. That was completely a defensive win. I'll say that straight up. And I think that Simpson guy, it was finally the first time you saw a blemish outside the first game of the season with Florida State in terms of an entire game. We've seen blemishes game to game. But like, to that caliber,
To that caliber, no. Yeah, with that pick six, yeah, that was the start of the downfall. He to his credit brought them back, but it just wasn't enough.
and then Texas, that was the most disappointing part. Shame, shame.
Shame, shame. The almost meltdown by Texas A&M. They were down what 30 to what a lot at halftime, and then Texas A&M comes back on South Carolina. I think the second big um, deficit that Shane Beamer has lost. Going back to the Alabama game, I think he was up big time on Alabama into the fourth, and let Alabama come back.
Yeah, I don't have much I can say on Disappointing.
Yeah. Shane Beamer, Shane Beamer. What can you do? A little bit about the NBA. Unfortunately, Wemby is going to be out for a few weeks. I think he has a calf strain. He didn't play. I think it was Sunday. So yesterday he didn't play in that game versus the Kings. Now it looks like he's looked at it was due to a calf strain. So he's gonna be out for a couple weeks. Spurs have been humming. I think the Spurs are like top four in the West. Let me double check. They've been playing well. To the fifth seed in the West, not too shabby. But hey, huge loss, especially with De'Aaron Fox coming back. They were, trying to integrate him with Wemby and Castle. But now I guess they're gonna look on Fox to kind of carry the team for the next couple of weeks. Um, any thoughts on that one?
No, I mean, I think Fox can handle a team for a while, but I'm not gonna lie. I think maybe him not playing for a long period of time as well, the decision making in some of the last few games he's been in,
Yeah.
I would say being a focal point in a game, a little questionable. Um, I guess that's being nitpicky though. Like he's coming off injury and he really wants to get reacclimated, and he has to put his stamp of what he can do on the team immediate, or he's just going to get washed away with the makeup of the team. So it's damned if you do or damned if you don't. What do you want the man to do?
Yeah, very questionable shot to end the second Warriors game. Very questionable shot, but uh, you gotta live and die with what was the clutch player of the year last year or 2 years ago. So, like you said, it's being nitpicky. Paul George is returning tonight versus the Clippers. We'll see how that looks in Philly. John Morant, another calf issue. It's gonna miss at least 2 weeks. Grizzlies haven't looked good at all this year, so this is just another bummer to their already disappointing season. LeBron was assigned to G League for a couple practices now. He's back with the Lakers, so I'm assuming he's going to return pretty soon here. Probably sometime this week he'll come back. Probably on a minutes restriction, Lawrence. But I think it'll be good to have the old man back in rotation, so he can ramp up. Once we're about almost a third of the way through the season, going into next month. So, Lakers have been playing well. Luka's been carrying the team. Some good wins under their belt. Surprisingly, they are also, I believe, in the top four right now. They are fourth, 10-4, 10-4 record. Very surprised by the Lakers early in the season. I don't know if you are.
Oh, for sure, because the fact that Luka hasn't, or not Luka. Well, actually, Luka's been in and out, but the
But then,
fact that
yeah.
LeBron hasn't been there is what really makes that more impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
It's more of a stat you would have thought of LeBron to start the season. Like that's the full team. We're playing with literally, I would say, a third of our team gone, and they're making it work. I will say, they have had a good mix too. They haven't been playing just the worst teams either. They've had a good mix.
Yeah, couple big wins. Big win against the Spurs. Big win against the Bucks, who were playing well. Big wins all over the place. Last but not least, my Heatles, Bam and Tyler Hero came back to practice this week. I think Hero said he's still about a week away from actually being able to play, more or less. Bam, I think, has a chance to play this week. He's not playing tonight versus the Knicks at home. They've been getting out rebounded without Bam. They really don't have a big man besides Khalil Ware and Jovic. So they definitely need some rebounding help there. But that's all I got in terms of NBA. I'm gonna turn to you for some UFC.
Yeah. So the UFC now has a welterweight problem where all the welterweights are pretty good. In terms of the fights, though, let's see. I pretty much started in the beginning, or not the beginning, probably about halfway through the prelims. So right on Tracy Cortez. Unfortunate for Tracy Cortez, got choked out. Kind of saw it
Yep.
coming.
unfortunately.
Wellerman or Wellmaker, disappointing. You lost to a guy on like 2 day notice that's literally never fought at the UFC level before. Expected better. Um, Pretty disappointing. I literally had a parlay that was 15 to win almost 300, and he was the only losing leg, and it was one of the first legs. So pretty disappointing to have seen it lose and then to watch every single domino fall after. What is it? What's his name? Sorry. Benel Darash, but at Saint Denis. Honestly, sorry, I'm butchering that so bad. After the Bo Nickel head kick, Benil, the way he went down in like 2 seconds, I think the only fight was only 16 seconds long. Absolutely mad, crazy. There was one ticket I saw they literally had him knocking the other guy out, and that was the only leg he lost. But I'll move on to what was more important is Leon Edwards getting KO'd for the first time. The aura farming Carlos did. Michael Morales, the Ecuadorian, hell yeah. Absolute killer knockout on Sean Brady. Readjust the entire flow of it. And then Valentina Shevchenko just being absolutely way too much for Zhang Wei. And then finally in the main event, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so tired of watching Islam fights. They're so boring. All he does is take you down and just hug you on the ground and not let you do anything, and it's so boring. There's I don't know how to enjoy a fight like that. Yeah, that's just the only way I can say it. Him and Bilal are just, and they're in the same. It's the same division, so it's just what the division wants to do at the top of its guys now. But I think Michael Morales, what is it? Gary's gonna be fighting soon. Puertas is gonna be fighting soon. They're all gonna be fighting each other now to be getting the title fight next. And then who's gonna be defending it? Is it Jack? Is it Islam? Is Islam gonna bounce around? See, now we got a build up here at the top, and we don't need that. We need the championship to start churning here.
Fair enough. I did not watch this fight, but saw the highlights and definitely missed out on the good card.
You missed out on some good knockouts.
I think ESPN has one more card under their contract before it switches over to Paramount. So we'll see what they cook up for December. Other than that, I have nothing else. John Cena's last appearance on Raw is tonight in Madison Square Garden. They still have the You Can't See Me last tournament is going on right now to determine his last opponent, I believe at Capital One Arena next month. So that's the only update I got from WWE. You got anything else?
No, I'm good.
That's all we got, folks. Thank you guys for watching. This is a Sideline Brief episode 201. We will catch you guys later this week. Peace.